Hello. Good evening. Coming in to do a energy update and a check-in. Ignore Sid. And of course, so everyone could see Sid because, it's all about Sid in the background. Hello to everyone who is new. My name's Corrie Thorne, and I am the founder, creator of More Than Existing. I am a modern day mystic, a psychic medium, a life coach, and so much more. Sorry, I'm just closing a bunch of windows and I'm just waiting for people to join in to see if I'm on Facebook and on YouTube, and there I am. So hello, Felicia and Wendy and Beth. Hello. Welcome. I'm just waiting for some people to join in. I'm going through a moment. I discovered just a little while ago, I went out and somebody has stolen from my deck, and it's been there since I moved there, my big Buddha statue, which is the one that's in absolute peace. It is my favorite Buddha, and I'm in Lacombe. So if anyone in Lacombe happens to see a Buddha just sitting randomly somewhere that somebody dropped, I believe it was probably last night, someone stole my big Buddha statue from my deck. And I'm like, anytime anyone invades my space like that, I just feel so, my whole energy just kind of goes, ugh. It's like, and so our whole world has that kind of energy right now. And it's not so much about the Buddha statue itself. Yes, that's very important. It's about somebody invading that space within, right? So it's like that really, truly just, it just does something to my energy to feel that somebody's, steps into that place of where they feel like taking something from somebody is, no matter what it is it's okay. And, we've really lost a lot of that sense of integrity within our world. Hold on. But we also still got a lot of goodness. Hold on. Sorry. Sid has to get down. Sid needs to get down. So she's, for anyone who's never met Sydney, this is Sydney. I'm just reading some of the comments. And so it is minor in comparison to some of the things that are happening in the world. Yes. And to some of the other things that others are going through. So we do have a lot of really crazy energy. I want to say the last 2 days, and I feel like it's continuing a little bit in through today, has been like absolutely crazy energy. And it's been like this big shift energy. So if you've been feeling that energy and feeling like almost like your heart's being ripped from your chest, that kind of energy, or you just like, you can feel everything in your body, everything is acting up, everything is bothering you, everything is going sideways and shit's just not going right. It's been all tied to a lot of this energy that's been happening, and people just being so out of character and so, away from selves. And we still have a lot of retrograde energy happening, and we have it until around the new moon or longer. Like, yeah, definitely. I think until after the new moon energy for sure. We are in like that last quarter moon, which is in Gemini right now. And so the moon has like these, two kind of energies happening. And we have there is a lot that's going on. If you've been hearing like ringing in your ears, if you're having crazy dreams, if you have all of those things that are happening, if you feel like this anxiousness, it's like your, soul is, there's just, everything is talking to you. And you just can't seem to sleep. You can't get the rest you need. Things are keeping you up at night. Disturbances, you may be hearing noises, anything. There is just so much that has happened, and and it's like, and so it is, I know it can be annoying, but it also gives us an opportunity. It also brings up the past. If you've had people from the past coming in, if you've had old things from the past that are unhealed, uncleared, that have not been resolved, this is the time to really resolve those things so that you can be free of them, get them gone, root them out, get them gone, have them out of your life, right? Like really truly move and shift this energy. I just see Felicia. My ex showed up a few weeks ago and told him to go away. Yeah, exactly. Just go away. And it was a reminder to you that you've been there. You don't go back there again. And so, yeah, there is way too much happening. And I'm going to go back and just going to check in. Hello, Elvin and Beth. Heavy hearts. Heart's been so heavy lately. Hoping we get some guidance tonight. And so, yeah, I'm going to give a general and see what we have come up because I'm going to read the energy. Hello, Nicole. I'm just saying hello to everyone who's energy. It is getting worse lately. Wendy, for sure. And Sonia, hello. And Michelle. Oh, thanks. Edie, hi. And yes, so many changes, right? And Jesse, too much energy. I hate it. So it's like, yeah. So you take it. There is opportunities in this, Jesse. There's opportunities in this energy. Use it to your advantage. I can't calm down. Just sat and cried. Let the tears flow. Tears, letting yourself cry, releasing that energy is so good. The other thing is learning how to release anger energy. Anger energy is not disruptive to anyone else. It is just a release, and being able to let yourself like scream and just release energy and just get it out is so good. I remember helping one of my clients one time go through a difficult situation in life, and I say, you don't have any space in you to hold any of this anger, and it's not going to help in your healing process. So I want you to get something like a tire, or go get one of those kid plastic bats, and just get something that you just put outside or put in your garage, wherever it is, and just take it and just like beat it and just hit it every time you feel that anger coming up, even though you can't label it, you don't know what it is. Just go out and just let yourself release that anger from your body. It's in, and so then we can really truly get to understand. And I speak about this. I actually have a meditation that's about this in YouTube, about love anger, and about it is such a caring, it's such a kind thing to do for yourself, is to release the anger. And angers can rise up, and we can have stored anger in our emotions and our situations that ties a long way back into our lives. But it affects us in so many ways. And if we release it, it's only energy, right? All it is that energy that's just taking up space. It is blocking, it becomes obstacles, it holds us back, but it doesn't have a reality. You can stay very angry at somebody, but it's not fixing anything. It's not changing anyone else's life. It's affecting your life, and it's what we hold on to. So finding those things, right? I need a bunch of stuff to smash. Yes. So find one of those smash rooms, Jesse. Get yourself one of those smash rooms. And those smash rooms where you can just go and you can break all the plates. You can take a bat. You can beat up like old microwaves. I think there's one in Edmonton, and it's a smash room, and you literally can book. And I said to my daughter not long ago, I'm like, I want to go there. And I remember, a friend of mine just saying one day, she said, I just had that urge to just take every plate in the dishwasher and just fucking smash them, just throw them on the floor. And I said, that urge, that urge is speaking a truth to you. What is the unsolved issue that is sitting there? What have you not got to say? And, maybe it's too late to say it to where you need to say it, but you have to say it out loud to yourself. You need to not let it have a hold of you, not let it be that kind of that octopus energy that it has this hold on you, and then it grows legs and tentacles. And that's where the reverse cards and the everyday goddess comes from. It comes from that place of just being in that energy that's just, in reverse. When life has us going in reverse, it creates that attitude that we get, that protection, that need to kind of block everything out. And when we decide that we're going to shut down and we're not going to let anybody or anything in, we deny ourselves the opportunity for for love and light to get in. And so letting love and light to get in is so important. And the reason why we're spending time on this conversation today, because this is in the energy. And it's so much in the energy. Yesterday, all the stuff that's been happening in my body, my health, just took another turn, and I couldn't even stand up last night. Couldn't walk. I was feeling the anger. I was feeling all those things, and I chose to light a candle. The other thing we have happening is the change in the seasons. So you also have the change in the seasons that's happening. And if you're affected by energy, you're going to be affected by the changing in the seasons, but also by affected by the collective energy that is in a rush. Slow down. We are not all the way into fall. And we always have these conversations about how the real new year is like September 1st, because that's when we go into the change. That's when we go back to school, start getting prepared to go back to school, and all of those things that is happening. Yes, to a certain degree, but I think every day is a new day, right? And so it's like, but it is the energy of where everyone as a collective energy starts to get into the shift, and you feel like you need to jump on board. And so years ago, I remember I've been back and forth with my doctor, and I'm like, I don't know what's wrong with me. And he tried all these things, he's like, you have seasonal disorder. He said, you're affected by the seasons, and it's your mood, and you are like a mood ring. And it's true. I'm like a mood ring. And he said, and that was way before I ever did this, before I ever fully stepped into this work or stepped into my healing. And he's like, you're like a mood ring. He said, you're influenced, you're affected by wherever you are and by whatever is happening. And I said, that's so true. I said, I've been like that since I was a child. So it's like you pick up the energy. So it's not just the people that's around you. It's that need to be in a rush. It's that demands. It's that sense of, it's costly to step into a September. It's, you're being kind of, it's like everyone is drinking pumpkin spice lattes, and you may be drinking them just because everyone else is, but do you freaking like them? And is it something that you would do on a normal basis? Is it something that you really enjoy? Like for myself, I can't put a scarf on. I hate scarves. And for years I used to keep buying a scarf because fall was coming, and they were in style and they were cool. And I'm like, I fucking hate scarves. So why would I wear a scarf? Why would I do that to myself? Why would I go against everything that doesn't feel right to me? I don't like to be closed in. I don't like that feeling. And it was all tied into energy. And so all of this energy that we have happening, and all this energy that we have going on, think about it. Think about how no pumpkin spice for me. And it's so funny because I just made a post about this morning about, even with your children, some children, it is such a, you put such strain and stress on them to go get school supplies to get there and to go to school on the first day. And all that energy and all that anxiousness and all that steps into a school. Sometimes it might be better to leave your kid out on the first day or bring them in later. Like really truly get to know the energy, get to know how we respond. How do you respond? How does it affect you? Obviously it affects your children too. And so when we learn energy and you learn how to live from energy, you become and work with energy healing, and you can see energy like I do, is that you start to see things in a whole different way. Does that make sense, Nicole? Did I just get a and so knowing those things, and so on top of this, on top of the retrograde energies, we have the season changing, right? And we have the beginning. We're in the beginning of it, but we're not there. Summer's not over. We're not in the next season. We're on our way to the shift. Energy is shifting. The changes in the season is happening. You feel the pressure from the change in the weather itself. So there's a lot of things, and that's why when I read when I can feel the influence of like an earthquake happening, or like and something like that. I mean, a couple of years ago when the earthquake hit by Rocky, I was living in Sylvan Lake, and I was out walking, and all I kept hearing was "get to higher ground, get to higher ground," and I could see this darkness and this like everything felt. I start to feel like I needed to rush, like there was something that was going to like swallow me up, is what I felt like. And then I was sitting down to record, and I felt this rumble, and instantly I seen this thing come across my phone, and I looked down, and I was talking about what had just happened, and it was an earthquake. And I could feel that earthquake happening just like that. And so, knowing and feeling and sensing those things, do you look at the whole situation, look at the whole scenario, look at all that is transpiring, all that's happening, and it does have an effect on us all. So that's what I got for you. That's not what I got all the way, but let me pick up a dog. Now it's Jazzy. This is dog you don't see often. This is little Jazzy. She doesn't snore, so she's not so popular as Sid. And so yeah, and so moving on up here. Let's feel out the energy and what we have happening. Need to take a walk in the woods away from people and just scream my heart out. Yes, Wendy. Why not? Right? Why not? And also, if you're going to go in the woods and you want to start screaming, you could listen to my last year or year 4 when I recorded all those walk with me on YouTube. You can go do all of those. If I could walk right now a long distance or walk like very far, I would record another set of those for people. And I would set that intention again. And so my hopes is to get there. Also, I do have some in-person events happening. Just saying. I have another one coming up soon as well, but that one we can't announce yet. But I have an in-person in Slave Lake, Alberta, happening in October the 21st and 22nd weekend. It's a whole weekend thing. And then I also have one that's going to be happening here in Lacombe. And I have not yet worked here in Lacombe, but I just booked a room. I booked the conference room at the Travelodge here in Lacombe, Alberta. And I'm going to be doing I think it's like a 4-hour workshop here that the price does include getting a deck of cards as well. And so I'm going to be doing that one here in Lacombe. And then in Slave Lake is a whole weekend event, a whole weekend workshop, Saturday and Sunday. And that includes a deck of cards, your journal, all the supplies that you will need. And so these are going to be like kind of my first back out again. And so, yeah, so I have those coming up along with More Than Existing that is starting again September the 14th. So starting September the 14th, we have More Than Existing, the level 1 lightworker coach, self-actualization, healing program that begins on a Thursday, I think it is. And so it's actually beginning like around the new moon energy. I never planned these things. And that's twice a week, all online, interactive. If you can't make it to the live, you get to go to the recordings. We do help everyone get in that is very interested in getting in. So if you've always been interested in taking my More Than Existing program and you looked at it and go, you just instantly shut down, like you just say, I can't afford that. So I can't take that. I can't do that. Reach out to us. If you feel that you're ready to commit to that and you're ready for it, and there's some way we can work out some sort of plans or help you in any way, then do reach out. Always reach out. You never know how we can be of service or what can happen to help get you into that program. And we really, truly trust our hearts on helping people be able to take part in it. So, and it is a 4-month program. So you got to be committed. So that's starting up in September. You ordered your cards. Edie, you should probably have your cards in a few days because I did send them out. I think they left I sent them from here on Friday, I think it was Thursday or Friday. The next morning, I think after you ordered them, I believe I took them down. So you should have your cards in a day or so. Yeah. All right. Let's see what we got going on. Oh, gee, liquors. I was just going to say a little. So that's not a jumper card for anyone who's wondering. That would not be a jumper card. I also have my Oracle card reader certification program that's coming up as well, and that's going to be happening in October. So you can become a certified Oracle card reader with the Goddess Within through the Goddess Within cards, and of course that helps you with every other deck of cards as well. And that program is coming up as well. I think in October. And if you've already purchased a deck of cards, or if you're purchasing a deck of cards, then we'll send you a discount code for taking off the percentage of what you paid for your cards off the course. If you are signing up new, then you will get the deck of cards with that program, with the Oracle card program. So that way, because you will need a deck of cards to take. You will need a deck of the Everyday Goddess to take that. Oh my God. Sorry, guys. So it's not the cards that are jumping. It is me and my hands. So since my body has gone totally out of whack, and since I couldn't walk there, and I was so sick over the past month, my hands are not working again. And so my hands can't hold things. Last night I lost all my husband's dinner, my supper. I lost the whole leftovers that I had just put in a container. It just like jumped out of my hand and fell into our bottom drawer where all of our Tupperware container is, and I made a big mess. So this has been my ongoing challenge. This is the fun of having these kind of wonky things happening in your body. All right, let's try this again. I'll keep the deck cards right on the desk. All right, what do we need to know? Let's see what we need to know on a collective energy. Let's check this out, and we'll see how this goes. Let's see what we got. Every time we get the Willow Guardian, she comes out every single time. I know we have our guardian angels with us. And so Willow being the guardian, and card 38 is that really, truly that understanding that sometimes we've gained a lot of wisdom. So I'm going to take it in a new route tonight, and what it's giving me is sometimes we've gained a lot of wisdom in our younger years. So throughout your years of your experiences, sometimes we say, I've had all of these bad experiences in life. And yes, they are definitely not freaking experiences we want to experience again, or that we wish we'd never experienced. And why did we have to experience? Why did I have to learn that? But the things that we have learned early in life has been really, truly some of the greatest wisdom that can help us at the later stages in our lives. And so when we do the healing work, we can extract what we gain from it. We can extract the energy of seeing the good people in our lives, of being able to see how people were there for us, or the experience. So when we can move and like separate, it's almost like seeing the picture from up above, looking in at different scenarios in our lives. And when we can see it all, it's that when we look into who we are, we can see, so let's just say, for example, you were a kid in school, and you got, and all of this, you maybe didn't have a great home life. And then you went to school, and then you got bullied and picked on in there. Now, I often ask this, was there one person in your life that was that good person? And most people say, no, nobody was nice to me. I don't remember anybody being good to me. There was never anyone nice to me. And then I'll say, was there anyone who did something that was special for you? And often, once we start to look at it in a different way, we say, well, this person, this teacher, this parent did this for me. And I said, why do you think they did that for you? I don't know. I said, maybe because they knew no other way to help you. Maybe they didn't know how else to help you, so they made you lunch, or they sent you cookies, or they invited you into their home, and they invited you to sit to their table. Maybe that person seen what was going on, and it was so out of their hands and so out of their control that they couldn't change it. So they had to find a way to be able to help. And so when we can look at our experiences that way, when we can see our experiences that way, the sun is like directly over my side window. When we can look in and we can extract that, we can see that those experiences actually provided wisdom for us. And it gives us the fact that there was a guardian there was somebody there, and that who we were in that moment said yes to that help. Whatever you're going through, somehow, some way, you said yes. And by just saying yes to that help, or to that guidance, or to that assistance, is that you were saying yes to you. And a lot of times in life, you may have said yes to you a lot more than you could have ever imagined. And that saying yes to you may have been saying no to other people, no to certain things in your life. And you may have been called stubborn for it. You may have been called like the sore loser, like the, the Debbie Downer, whatever it is. You may have been called those things, but in return, you were saying yes to you. So you were the guardian. Somehow, some way, either somebody else was that for you, and in vice versa, you were also that for you. So you were already protecting you. You were already standing up for you. And when I say to people, when is the time you stood up for yourself? And you'll say, I can't remember ever standing up for myself. And then I'll say, okay, let's look at all these situations. Let's look at life. And that's what retrograde does for us. So retrograde gives us the opportunity to be above it, to be outside of it, to become an observer of these experiences, to look in, and so that we can extract these little nuggets. We can release, resolve, set ourselves free of all of the rest, take the nuggets and gather up those nuggets. So you may have been in that crone energy. You may have been in that great wisdom at such a young age, not knowing why. And it's because your soul self, the essence of your divine essence within you, was standing up for you, was speaking up for you, was helping you in some way, was protecting you in some way. It was there for you in some way. And so when we can see that, we can start to see that we have all of this aspect of ourself and our spirit and our higher self that is an extension, but also a part of us that is greater than our human thought process of what we've been, pushed to believe, or what we've told ourselves, that sometimes is a little greater than those experiences. And so it says, and so this card is our mind card. It's the past. What of the past? What is there? That we can extract now, and that we can see how we have said yes to ourselves, how we've been our own guardian, how we've had guardians in our life, how we had all of this, how we've had these opportunities and moments that have followed us through. And when we can pick those up and we can bring them forward, how can I use these again today? And how many times have I been my own hero? How many times have there been a hero there that helped me? How many times have there been somebody there that I've been too angry not to see? How many times have somebody tried to help me that I've, that I wanted to kind of say no, but I just surrendered into it and just said yes. And so picking up those pieces and looking at it that way and seeing it that way really truly helps us to create a new story, to tell a new story, to live in a new energy. I moved my desk and I'm like, the sun is like right over there. And I'm not complaining about the sun. I love the sun. And so throughout life, I want you to really look at that. That's our card, and it's playing out in this retrograde energy as well. So I always say the truest of you will find at the end of your difficult situations, when you've had to make a choice to choose to do the right things for the right reasons. That's where your innate character is. That's where your truest version of yourself exists. It is right there. And so when you can get that right there, when you hold on to that right there, you start to find something so great about yourself that is so wonderful. And so when you start to see your own guardian energy, when you start to see your own heroine, your hero energy, when you start to see that about yourself, you start to see your own divinity. You start to see your light. And when you start to see your light, you start to also see the light in others. You start to see there's still light, there's still love. There has been good people. There has been good times, whatever it may be. And we just start to bring that forward. And how can we grow on that? Plant that seed, plant seeds from that energy, and let the light just step into there. Hello, Joanne. Welcome. So nice to have you here. And Shannon, hello. And Dana, hello. I think that's all that I haven't said hello to. Oh, Mary, hello. I think that's it. Hello, hello, hello. And yeah, please share out these videos. And we also do have I think we also do have a little giving star on here as well, where you can give stars. You can give stars. I always think that's so weird, but it helps us in ways to be able to grow. Hello, hello, goodbye, Jake. Hello, Jojo. Hello, Liz. All right, next card. moving into, so this moves us into body and into presence, and the power of presence, to be in our own presence, to be in the now, to be, to be here in this moment with ourselves. And so we have contentment, we have Contessa. Now she is coming out in reverse. She is coming out in reverse. And so this is about, that sense of self-love, which also ties into the last message as well. And that sense of being, I don't want to use the word at peace. At peace doesn't feel right. That sense of being able to step into honoring that, we may have not got it all right. We may have, not always perfected life. And that is, being able to see our imperfections as opportunities. So in reverse, Contessa, contentment, really ties into that. We're never able to be content. We're always seeking and searching something. And when we are always seeking and searching, is like we often get away from our own body. And that's when you often will hear yourself say things like, I feel like I'm lost. I feel like I don't know my purpose. I feel like I feel like I'm so far away from home. I feel like I need to move. You're always trying to find something outside of yourself. You may move around a lot. You may shop a lot. You may avoid a lot. You may have a lot of isms. You may get very distracted a lot. And those things are not contentment. That is where we avoid having to allow ourselves to feel. And the essence of being able to let ourselves step into feel our emotions, feel what we need to feel, step into the energy. And even though we want to avoid some of this energy, is that what is this energy teaching me? What is there for me to learn from this experience? Like me and my missing Buddha today, and me and my space being invaded. And so it does speak a lot about, for me, I had no boundaries throughout my life. I had zero boundaries, and I trust everyone. I leave my stuff out around. I believe everyone is going to be the good person. And so it's like, I don't really create those boundaries often. And I've had to learn over time to create boundaries. And because I didn't have boundaries, is that I could never find that sense of contentment, because I always was in, why did I say yes to that? I would say yes before I would say no. Here's a key to saying, to when you often say yes. Say, give yourself 24 hours before you respond. Give yourself 24 hours. Don't say yes so quickly, right? Like, don't be so quick to jump on board and just say yes to everything, to want to please everybody, to please everything. It's okay to say no. And it's okay to say, I'll revisit this. It's a no for now, and I'll revisit this later, so that you can be in your own presence. Ask, how do I feel about that? How do I feel about doing that? Do I feel up to that? Will I feel up to that down the road? Who knows? So I used to always say yes to all these things. And then I'm like, why did I do that? I don't want to do that now. And so I'd be forcing and pushing myself to do things that then I didn't feel like doing. So I always wait for that response. And I've really learned that. And I've learned that by getting to know my human design as well. And I got, and my natal chart, and really getting to know who I was and what I was. And so some of those things and why we do the things we do is actually built into us, right? And so, but we can change the patterns. We can change those behaviors. And so I would never be able to be content with anything. And then I also always went through this process of not feeling like I've done enough for people. It's like I always had to go the extra mile. Got to put in the extra step. God forbid if I've not done enough. What if someone is not comfortable? What if I'm making, what if people feel like they're not getting enough out of it? And so I always would go the extra mile, give the extra. And that's good to a certain degree. But that means that you also leave you to having that sense of invasion. And it's an invasion of your energy, and it's an invasion of your space. You also feel like you're away from home. You feel like you're lost. You feel like and so this energy we have right now does activate some of that. It does trigger some of that. It reminds us of how important it is for us to develop this sense of self-regulating, of self-control, of self-development, of self-realization, right? That we can transcend, right? So that self transcending, transcend our own self, leave behind the self that we have been, that we became out of necessity, or we came out of programming, conditioning, that we had to become, that we created out of protection, survival, and transcending those stories and being able to step into a sense of being able to resolve those energies, heal those energies, be allow them to be transcended, to come back to you as wisdom, love, those things, so that you can then grow, and so that you can start to evolve and start to create a new way of being that feels more in align to your authentic self. So you can stay with yourself, stay in your own presence, so that you can trust yourself. You learn how to trust yourself. You learn how to be with you, and you're more content, even though other people may not be happy with you, because you're maybe saying no, but you're more at, you're more at peace. We'll use that word. You're more at peace. You're more content with you, because you are listening to yourself. You're listening to your intuition. You're trusting that intuition. And that's one of the big things that I teach in my courses, and I teach in these upcoming classes, is I teach through the cards and through this of, what is that attitude? So if you say, "Oh God, I'm doing this again," and then you're complaining about it, what are you complaining about? You said yes. You're the one made the choice. You let yourself be guilted into that. You guilted yourself into it. You told yourself that you should do that. You always do. Why do you always do it? Right? If you keep doing things on repeat and it's always the same thing over and over, why do we keep doing this? Right? And oh God. We have, I don't know how to get rid of this stuff on here. And so, yeah. And so this is that sense of, right. So those boundaries, fine example. No one has the right to come in to spread their stuff, their spams on my page. And so don't answer that, guys. There. All right. Wendy, oh boy, I found the peace in saying no lately. Yes. Yes, right? Yes to your nose. Yeah, and yes to your nose, because it affects your body. It has a big effect on your body. It affects everything in your life. And I do find myself, when those experiences happen to me, is that um I'm not so I'm not so easygoing on that and just saying, "Oh, it's okay. That's just how life is." No, it's bullshit. It's not the way life is, it's the way life has become. And that sense of building a strong foundation and truly allowing ourselves to restore that sense of integrity within ourselves and self-respect, it means that we start to command it from the world that we exist in. I command it within my work. I command it within my relationships. It's like you hold yourself to that standard. You also then hold others to that. Not saying they have to be it, but if you are to be in my world, then I, respect my boundaries. If I say no to something, or if I say I don't want that, or I don't want that in my space, I don't want that in my house, I expect that to be respected somehow, because it's like it doesn't align to me. And honoring that within yourself and getting to know that. So resolving the old issues, clearing out that. And sometimes we have to remove some of the boundaries that we created out of our fear stories and out of our protection, and just look at how we've blocked everything, because we also got to be open to love and open to kindness. But when you're more loving to yourself and you're kinder to yourself, you're safer with yourself. You feel that sense of security. I'm safe within me. I am safe to trust myself. And that's when you can release and let go and let down some of those walls that you have created, because you'll be able to gauge, feel the energy. You'll know the energy. You'll know what's happening, and you'll be able to trust yourself in your yeses and your nos. No, people don't like change, Nicole. That's okay. That's okay. I've lost a lot of people through, even, people following my work, even, people following my work, clients, those type of things. As I've evolved, I've had all these people fall away, and they're like, "You're not who you used to be." And I said, that should be a good thing. You should see through that. There is so much to learn through that I don't just do those things anymore. I'm not that anymore, because I have literally sat down and I've dug up the foundation. I have broken away all of those things, and I've looked into me instead of into the world. I've explored those things about myself, and I've created that sense of my authentic self and my true self. And I've also recognized that, just because I can doesn't mean I need to. And that's why I don't always come in and do mediumship. Like, I don't always come in and put that out there and give that, is because I also own a business. I also believe that some of that stuff is meant to be done in a more sacred space. And so I do it on occasion when I feel the call to do it, and I feel the yes in my body, but I'm no longer feel the guilt that, oh my God, if I don't do it, I'm going to lose these followers. People are not going to follow my work. And I let that go. And I want you to really look at your own life, and how many of those times do you just say, you know what, that's a their issue and not a you issue. That's for them to talk about, to complain about, to whatever. It is not for you anymore. When you find that sense of contentment in you, you get to know that of yourself. And so, do I still do that work? I do a whole lot of that work, but I don't have to talk about it everywhere. It is things that I do in my work, in my real life that I live, beyond the illusions of creating any image, right? And so that's in paid sessions, that's in being there and being present in for people. And when I feel it, and I feel that urge and that call, yeah. And then when I hear it's time to do an energy update, I do an energy update. There's so many aspects. So there's so many reflections of you that people can get to know and to enjoy and to embrace, that once you truly start to honor that, is that it starts to be this magnetic love of attracting in all of the right kind of people who appreciate that. Or a lot of people come back around and say, I really honor that. I really appreciate that about you. And so you also become, a guide, a teacher in so many ways, and even to those around you. The guilt is the hardest part to get past. So the only person that truly makes you guilty is your own thoughts. Not what anyone says to you. It is the narrative that you tell yourself. It is the second response, right, that we get of then allowing yourself to be led by guilt. That's where the guilt comes from. All right, final card. Hope that helps somehow. Yeah. Hello, Natasha and Ellie. Yes, absolutely, right? I see my schedule admin going crazy, and that's most likely Lisa. I always say Lisa, we say to each other, we're like one brain. Right, exactly, Tracy. And so now we're going into spirit cards. So here's our spirit card. This is the energy. And so we have the illusionist. We have paradox. This is such a good card. And it was one of the cards that was kind of like the hangman, right? It kind of reminds you of it's kind of like the hangman, or she's doing freaking handstands. So sometimes I always say the thing that I truly, truly found in my own life was that I said, I am not the circus act. And I wasn't going to be the circus act, the line that got to perform for people, to be on show, to be on display, is that sense of, and no matter what it is, no matter where that is in your life, is that and to be a one ring circus, right? Like whatever that may be. But that sense of, I don't have to do something extra. I don't have to go above and beyond. You don't have to go above and beyond to be something special, to be something great within your own life. You just got to be you. And you have to be you. You can't, the you of who you are truly authentically here to be, is who has to be on board. It's who has to be present to be able to open the doors to your future. And so your purpose, you're living your purpose. You came to be human. You're a spirit who came to have the human experience, right? And so your divine destiny and the things you're here to do. And I know one of my friends is here, and she makes the most incredible purses. And and that's one of her calls. Like it's so incredible. I seen them and I'm like, oh my God, like that's one of her calls. That's answering the call to do the things that you're passionate about or to be. And so sometimes, people often say, to be a custodian of a building. People say, well, how's that a destiny? And it's like, do you know how many people that do jobs like the top end of a building would not be able to be in that building or to be able to function properly if you didn't have the person that took care of that building? But that person who's a custodian all the way to their soul is usually the one that people stop and talk to and probably gets the greatest wisdom from. And I just remember our custodians in school, and they used to call them janitors back then. And those women, they were so much to us. We would sit down and tell them all of our life problems and all of our woes and how our parents were so mean to us. And they would sit and listen to us. We had a man who ran our arena, and he was the head of, he was like, I guess, the manager, whatever, of the arena. And he would open up the canteen and get us hot chocolate and orange juice. And I was a figure skater, so I lived at the arena. And he would sit down and he'd talk to us. He was an older gentleman, and we'd be whining and complain about how hard life is. And he would never tell us ever that we were wrong or that life wasn't hard. He would let us get it out. And so when we look at things with new eyes or with a different perspective, is that we don't always have to be so opinionated about it. We don't have to tell somebody what else to do or even be so judgmental or so critical of ourselves. Is that sometimes we just need to get it out. And we also have to recognize that we have messengers everywhere, and that the illusionist and the illusion of it all is that we're always waiting for the right person, the right experience, the right energy. It's like, oh, if I could only get there. But you may have just sat down next to somebody who just made you feel like the most spectacular person, or you may have sat down next to somebody who made you feel that way. You made them feel that way. And I just think back throughout my life. And so the card is the future. It's the spirit card. It's the essence of living from spirit, is that the aspects and the essence of who you are has always been with you. And sometimes you don't know who you are to others and how you affect others and the influence that you have on others. And so what you are sometimes to others, you have to light that flame, that spark within yourself. And that means sometimes stop trying to do handstands to impress the world. Stop seeking that validation. Stop seeking for something outside of yourself to tell you that you're enough. Get to know those parts of you. Even that broken of you is, it has something that is of value to you. What are those pictures under my clock? And there's my Lindsay. Those are the cover. Those will be the cover to Wine and Chips when they're all put together. I do need to get them graphically done. I painted those. So those are tied, Lindsay, to the Wine and Chips. I just got to put the chip underneath the shoe, and I have to put the extension up to the other one. So yeah, so those, and I just put clear glass on them. They were just done with the clear glass. Speaking of spirit. Yeah, and then that one, the dark looking one over here with the hair, that's a painting I just finished. And it's the first time I've put like wood and stone on the painting. So she's kind of blended in behind all of the hair. It's hard to see her, it's dark. Yeah. And so, yeah, so something I didn't know. So part about living from spirit, when you recognize the power of living from your spirit, is that a lot of the things that started to come to me was listening to those voices. Thank you, Lindsay. And listening to those voices. And I just heard one day, you're going to sit down and paint you beautiful. Every morning you're going to paint. And I said, paint me beautiful. I don't even paint. I was a master hairstylist for 30 years. I don't paint though. And I'm like, I know the color wheel. And that's what I heard, you know, the color wheel. And every morning I would sit down and sketch a set of eyes. I would do those things and say, that's your mood. And I would look at it and go, my God, she's like, oh, she's like good looking. And then I would hear, well, that's you. And then I would hear, God, she looks like a bitch today. Or oh, she looks grumpy today. And I go, well, that's you. Your mood is showing. There's the mood ring person again, right? Your mood is showing. That's your shadow essence. That's your, you know, that's what you're feeling. That's what you're holding on to. That's what's keeping you. That's what you're presenting. That's what you're believing about yourself. And I found myself in the dollar store, and I was picking up all these dollar store paints and stuff, and I'm like, and I'm arguing with this voice and with this essence of myself. And I started to hear, look around. You discount yourself. And you have to find that sense of worth. So my very first ever painting is the girl with the red dress and that hair, and I mimicked and I mocked her and everything else. So this has become a series that I've now done all the copyright to, and it's called Paint Me Beautiful. And it's actually going to be a work that is going to be coming out as a deck of cards and a journal and all those things. Probably I don't know what it's going to look like, but it literally was tied to this illusionist card. And there's images of what we see and how we see ourselves, and how we talk about ourselves and what we believe about ourselves. I was born on April Fool's Day. And so there was always the ongoing joke story. And so the illusionists, and we believe that, but is that the truth? And everything is an illusion of that truth. And same with our false light, our false truth. We got to step into our truth and into that real true light. And that's where spirit guides us. And when we allow ourselves to live in relationship to our soul, is that we can truly hear that essence of, do you really believe that? Is that really your truth? And love starts to speak. The voice of grace finds a voice. It finds its way in. And when the voice of grace speaks, love starts to speak. And when love starts to speak, love is not always pretty. And love is not always easy, but it is that, like that grandmother energy that just sits down and just lets you spew it out, and then says to you after, can you hear yourself? Do you see what that has done to you? And that's where I created contentment. That's where I created Contessa. Was contentment really truly came from my grandparents used to always say to me, you'll always be on the run as long as you're seeking for something outside of yourself. You will never be content. You have to become at peace with yourself so that you can become the sense of what contentment really means. You will stop running, you will find stability, and you will let love and happiness into your life. And that truly is the power of what all of this energy that's happening right now does give us. It gives us the opportunity to explore that, to find that, and to discover that within ourselves. And so I hope in some way that this message reaches you, it resonates with you, and it helps you in some way. And Lindsay always comes in and kind of throws me into something new. And so Wine and Chips is my third book that is in editing. It is a hard book to edit. Is a hard book because it does really speak about how we get so associated to our stories, and how we're so far away from ourselves, and we believe that to be us, but it's not us. And it literally is a story of a grape. It's the story of a grape named Rose and a potato named Chip, and it is that separation of self, and how ludicrous those stories can become, and how we get so lost in that, and how we can have such compassion for that essence of the shadow story. And so this is going to be the cover of that book. And I didn't realize when I first started painting it what it was going to be. But that's the cover to that one. And then all of this is my Paint Me Beautiful series, which is all over here. So the woman who didn't know how to paint, who was never a painter, has painted, I think I have painted 38, 39 pictures in a year, along with writing all those books. And so it wasn't that it's something that I'm great at, but it's something that I needed to awaken within myself. And I needed to know I needed to see the colors of me. And so finding that sense of the colors of yourself and who we really are sometimes mean you got to sit in silence. You got to stop doing all the things that you're doing and just be patiently, impatiently waiting for Wine and Chips. So Wine and Chips book, as Lindsay is saying, she's patiently, impatiently waiting. It would literally has been written for 2 years now. And I have now written the 7th book since then. And so this here is the 7th book, and it was actually handwritten. And they just take time to come out. So if you haven't gotten my first 2 books, get More Than Existing and My Truth of Existing Beyond Reflection. And those 2 books are out. You can also purchase my Everyday Goddess Oracle cards on my website. If you go to CorrieThorne.com, everything is there that you can find. If you want to be in a weekend workshop with me in October in Slave Lake, you can come join me in Slave Lake, Alberta. I will be in Lacombe October the 14th for, I think it's like a 4-hour workshop that I have happening at Travelodge. They're all on Facebook. They're not on the website yet, but they are on the event page on Facebook. You can email me to get registered and sign up. If there's a town that you want me to come to, that you can organize an event for me to come into, I am open to traveling, to be in places. I am waiting for a back surgery, so I'm hoping I don't have to reschedule all these things. But that's our message. That's what we got. I hope it resonates with you. The dogs are dancing on the floor, so I do have to leave you all. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for always being here and supporting my work and what I do. And if you want to listen to some more, go to my YouTube channels. I am going to be recording the energy update that I haven't got done yet this week. I'll be getting that out tomorrow. So there'll be a new energy update out tomorrow. There's also a whole bunch of stuff on the mteacademy.ca, which is our online academy. And so I also have More Than Existing starting up in September, and then the Oracle card training for the Everyday Goddess. So yeah, I'm always at something. Thank you all for being here. I send you much love and well wishes of getting through this energy, and let this message just resonate with you. Go back and listen to it again if you want. Share it out to those that you think need to hear it. Much love. Talk to you all soon. Bye-bye.